The hills are alive with the sound of construction. Joining us right now is Governor Ron DeSantis here in the great state of Florida. You came up with this idea in the last couple of weeks, right? For Alcatraz, or Alligator Alcatraz. Explain it.
Well, when you want to have deportation of illegal aliens, there's a process that DHS has to go through to vet, to process, and then to stage them for removal.
Very soon, this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation.
Out beyond the shimmering skyline of Miami, where the tarmac of a long-forgotten jet port vanishes into sawgrass and dark water, President Donald Trump stepped from a motorcade and entered a place that critics already call Alligator Alcatraz. The Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport was once meant to welcome supersonic jets. Today it stands at the center of a vast, mosquito-laden wetland where pythons glide through mangroves and alligators lurk in tea-colored canals. Trump's July 1st tour brought television cameras into this unlikely detention site, just as the Senate in Washington squeaked his big, beautiful bill across the finish line. Quote, "We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation," he joked, gesturing towards the distant tree line, while Governor Ron DeSantis and Homeland Security Secretary Christen looked on. Supporters framed the visit as proof of decisive leadership. Protesters framed it as a spectacle bordering on cruelty. A runway in the reeds.
With the help of those incredible Border Patrol agents, we now have the lowest level of daily border crossings ever recorded. As you know, last month, the month of May, just got released 2 days ago, the number of illegal aliens into the United States was zero. Even I find that hard to believe. Somebody must have gotten in, I think. I don't know, but they say zero. And the people that count them are radical left Democrats.
2 generations ago, boosters dreamed of building the world's largest airport in the Everglades. Engineers carved out 39 square miles of swamp, poured a single mammoth runway, and dubbed the project the Everglades Jetport. Opposition from scientists and conservationists halted expansion in 1970, sparing what a federal report warned would be the inexorable destruction of South Florida's fragile ecosystem. The jetport shrank to a training strip with a weather-beaten tower, but the concrete remained intact, surrounded by water, reeds, and the thunder of afternoon storms. Its isolation is now touted as a virtue. DeSantis invoked emergency powers in 2023 to repurpose the strip as a migrant detention hub, claiming the surrounding swamp provided, quote, natural security. Trucks rumbled in carrying modular barracks, portable toilets, and coils of razor wire. A state video featuring Attorney General James Uthmire promised taxpayers, quote, an efficient, low-cost opportunity because escapees would meet only alligators and pythons. Critics compared the plan to imprisoning people on a barrier reef and declaring the ocean a fence. By mid-June 2025, the asphalt shimmered with heat while generators throbbed beside new chain-link corridors. Workers erected tented processing bays, fitted bunkhouses with steel-framed beds, and installed camera poles. Despite lawsuits from Friends of the Everglades and the Miccosukee tribe, construction advanced at breakneck pace, 8 days from groundbreaking to presidential walkthrough. What had been a dormant runway now bore the chalked outlines of an encampment designed for 1,000 detainees, expandable to several thousand beds if federal funding flows. The environment is as unforgiving as the policy. Temperatures soar past 95 degrees, humidity clings like cotton, and afternoon lightning ignites brief downpours that leave knee-deep puddles alive with tadpoles. Wildlife officials record Burmese pythons exceeding 15 feet, American crocodiles venturing north, and black vultures circling the carcasses of wild hogs along levee roads. Politics on the tarmac.
So the president is now getting a very intimate tour of this facility, Alligator Alcatraz, and he's looking now at where some of the detainees will be housed and where they will be sleeping. And you could see he's paying very close attention to what the officials surrounding him are sharing with him.
Donald Trump's arrival turned an austere facility into a primetime drama. The presidential helicopter swept low over sloughs glittering with tannin-stained water, then set down beside a line of Humvees. Cameras rolled as Trump, DeSantis, and Noem strode past bunk rows. Quote, "So professional and so well done," the president declared, tracing a hand along freshly welded fencing. Reporters pressed him on whether Alligator Alcatraz might serve as a template nationwide. "It can be," he replied. "We'd like to see locations like this in many states." DeSantis seized the moment to underline deterrence. "Why would you want to come through Alligator Alcatraz if you can just go home on your own?" he asked, predicting that fear of reptiles would persuade migrants to self-deport. At a round table, Noem addressed viewers in Spanish-accented English. "You can still self-deport and have the chance to return legally. If you don't, you may end up here." Trump laughed, promising to teach escapees how to outrun alligators. Outside the gates, the mood was starkly different. Demonstrators brandished placards, some reading, "Humans aren't bait," and "Protect the Glades, protect our people." Phyllis Andrews, a retired teacher from Naples, spoke for many. Quote, "They are fine people. They do not deserve to be incarcerated here." Television networks split-screened the spectacle. Inside, Trump offered fist pumps beside barbed wire. Outside, Betty Osceola of the Miccosukee warned of damage to ancestral wetlands. Human rights in a hot zone.
These people come in here, they want to go home. And they want to go home, so we immediately send them home, where it's appropriate. Now, if somebody's a real killer, we don't send them anywhere. We put them in maximum security.
The Everglades appear wild, but the region is layered with histories of displacement, from Seminole wars to agricultural drainage schemes that drained vast sloughs. Betty Osceola's family fishes canals where alligators slide beneath white lilies. She fears detention compounds will expand, leaching sewage into waterways and bringing sirens, floodlights, and diesel exhaust to a landscape protected by UNESCO. Human rights organizations echo her concern. The ACLU argues that placing detainees in remote swamps, quote, "underscores how our immigration system is increasingly used to punish rather than process." They note that existing ICE centers near hospitals already struggle with medical neglect. In a swamp, hours from major trauma facilities, heat stroke and infectious disease loom larger. Inside the compound, 24/7 air conditioning hums, but outages in hurricane country are not hypothetical. FEMA funds purchased backup generators, yet fuel lines can wash out in storm surge. Advocates worry that detainees, many of whom fled violence, will now confront venomous snakes, mosquitoes that carry West Nile virus, and the psychological toll of isolation. One legal observer likened the plan to, quote, "exiling people to a humid lunar landscape." Policy architects counter that isolation equals security. The sole two-lane road is flanked by canals. State troopers can roadblock it in minutes. Thermal imaging cameras scan tree lines. Drones equipped with infrared linger in the sky. Uthmeyer boasts the state can, quote, "deliver public safety at a bargain cost." He compares natural predators to walls no taxpayer must build. Steel sensors and swamp grass.
But it was an abandoned railroad, an abandoned airport, and frankly, it's like perfect. And you can do expansion on this site substantially without doing anything. So, the people, I heard them complaining about the Everglades. There's no. I don't think you've done anything to the Everglades. I think you're just enhancing it.
Walk the perimeter, and the paradox is immediate. Razor wire coils beside cattails, where purple gallinules step like tightrope artists. Security contractors installed over 28,000 feet of barbed loops, each gleaming bead catching morning light. 200 cameras feed a command center cooled by industrial chillers. Facial recognition software pings whenever a detainee steps beyond assigned zones. Inside the galvanized barracks, bunk frames reach 4 tiers high, each mattress sheathed in vinyl. Ventilation ducts roar overhead, pushing chilled air that wrestles the swamp's clammy breath. Logistical charts reveal an operation designed for turnover. Intake modules, fingerprint, photograph, and medical screen arrivals within 45 minutes. Flights from Miami International shuttle deportees nightly to Guatemala City, Tegucigalpa, and San Salvador. If detainees request asylum, they are bussed east to appear before remote judges by video link. Yet even planners concede nature rules here. Afternoon thunderstorms ground drones, swamp sparrows cling to razor wire, and one security guard told reporters a 15-foot python curled under a generator shed. Echoes and aftershocks.
Hot tents, no plumbing, surrounded by swamp and surveillance, built not to solve problems but to make spectacles out of suffering.
A lot of fuel going out there, a lot of chemicals going out there. If it's stored on site, how are they going to mitigate that?
The visit's shockwaves rippled far beyond Florida. In Washington, lawmakers split along familiar lines. Supporters hailed a cost-effective innovation. Detractors denounced state-sponsored banishment. Former Congressman David Jolly called it a callous political stunt, sparking a viral debate on whether the government could ever place citizens in similar terrain. Now it's time to hear from you. Do remote detention centers like Alligator Alcatraz represent practical security or a troubling step towards punitive spectacle? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.